Hello, Nomad Sculpt, and this is just for fun. Let's sculpt a wheelbarrow. Okay, so yeah, something like this here. Okay, let's start. So I create a new scene, and first we don't need the sphere, so I delete it. Then we need a primitive, so I start with a wheel. So I'm using a torus for the wheel, and at the bottom I turn off the perspective so we look straight on the wheel. Okay, so there's our wheel. Here in the three dots menu we can change the inner radius a little bit. Maybe like this. And I'm using now the madcap mode. And I'm turning on the wireframe so we can see everything a little bit better. So the next primitive we need is a lathe primitive. So here, press lathe. And now I'm using the X-ray mode so that I can see through the wheel here. And so we need here an inner point. So like this here, and so I start like this here. And here, so I turn on the symmetry here. So you see the green line here. So I only sculpt half of the wheel here, or the, I don't know the name, yeah, the part inside the wheel, so that we can mirror to the other side. Okay. So then we get something like this here. And I think this is okay. So that's fine. So I validate this object, and now back to the mirror thing here. So I change from X plane to the Y plane, and so I'm mirroring here from the right side to the left. So I press split and mirror, so we got our wheel. So now I don't need the X-ray mode anymore, and I think this is okay. So it looks there's something wrong here. I'm not sure, so I get a few steps back. Ah, we forgot something. So you see here at the top, I forgot to deselect the caps, so we don't need caps at the moment. So this was a problem. I validate again and change the plane. So we are a little bit too near to this point, so we have to adjust it a little bit. And this here also. So when we mirror that, no mesh overlapping is here. Now it's okay, I think. So now we got the correct wheel. So let's see the inside topology. So it looks okay. So the next thing is I activate the gizmo tool and I add a cylinder, and here the checkbox on gizmo is active here. So this is the axis. So for the moment this is enough. So I select everything and I create a group and I name it, this is the wheel. Not. Okay, so next primitive. So we see at the moment here, this is the top view. So I'm using here the snapping and I rotate it to the front view. So like this here. So now we are correct. Okay, so next primitive we need is a tube. So I put the tube out of the wheel. So okay, now we have a tube, and I'm using now the grid. So come on, and the snapping here. Here is the snapping option. So let's see what happens if the mirror is active. Where does it mirror? Ah, yeah. We have the on gizmo thing here. Now the mirror is correct. So I'm sculpting also only half of the thing here. So this becomes the cup, I think is the name. And now we need a profile. So this is our profile. And I change it to an open profile. So let's see the profile here in the bigger view. So I'm using here a straight line. So I'm turning off snapping. so that it looks like this here. And I'm only using here black nodes, so not white nodes. And I'm changing here the topology and also this topology so that it looks like this here. So, okay. So to see what happens here with the corners, so you can try post subdivision. So you see here, it gets smoother and rounder. So like this here, when you use post subdivision. And this is what we need. So I think this is okay. And now I'm deselecting the mirror and I validate this shape. So here in the symmetry, I'm using now the X mirror and I mirror it like this. So now I use a mask, or the cell mask better, and I'm masking here this point with a mask. And now I invert the mask and using the gizmo. So now we can place this point here like this and check the front view. Oh, not, we need scaling. And I clear the mask and we need this point. Maybe like this here. And also I turn off smooth shading, so. So now the whole thing looks like this here. Okay. I think it's okay. Let's test it. I clear the mask. Okay, so I split here the object and here the setting is here none. And I'm using the polygon tool. And I'm splitting the object at this position here. And then I join the two objects together. So this is such a loop here, yeah, for more geometry. So, and maybe I split it also here in the center. And I join it back. So now we have two edge loops more. And for the bottom, I'm using the cell mask. So I'm masking here this part, press invert, and then I use scaling for the gizmo. Then it looks like this here. I hope you can see it. Okay. So now I'm clearing the mask. The next thing is we use the subdivision. So here multi-resolution, and here's a checkbox for linear subdivision. So use this checkbox and subdivide it one time. So then you can test it. So linear subdivision off and subdivide it again. So you see here now the round corners, and when you subdivide again they get smoother. So then it looks like this here. I think this is okay. And yeah, and so we can try to move here some parts here. So symmetry is active, so maybe I move it here a little bit like this. Yeah. I think you get it. Okay, and now we have to close the bottom here. And for this, I'm using the mask tool, so I mask the whole object. And then here in the mask menu, you find here the close holes option. Press close holes. So now we have the bottom closed and the top. So we have to split it. So make sure that the thickness is 0 and here the setting is none. So split the mesh. So now you see we have separate objects here. And yeah, we can trim it, or here it's possible to separate here the topology. So now we have 2 separate objects, and in this one I delete. So, and now I'm joining this together. So nice. So let's see the wheel. And I pick now the wheel and bring it in position. So I do this without reference images, so only by eye. I think this is okay. I call it cup, or I don't know the exact name. Okay, then a tube tool. So, and let's create a path. So snapping at the moment, I turn off snapping, so no snapping. So I start at this point here, and I think here is the end. Okay, so a little bit of smaller radius, so like this. So now I'm changing the view. So now I'm using snapping, I think, here for this point. snapping off. So at the top there's the mirror. So I think we have to bring this okay, and I changed the topology a little bit. So I think this is enough. So, and then again, oh, a new tube. I do it a little bit more in this direction, so, and so I select now everything, and I'm using the gizmo, and I bring the pivot here to the wheel position, and I'm rotating it a bit more like this, I think. Maybe a little bit a bigger wheel. So let's add a ground. Okay. And then we need the handles. So I select this one and I place here the pivot here, and I pick here this point. So, and I place it here in the center. So you can also use here, yeah, you can validate the object and mask this point. Okay, but I add now on the gizmo position a lathe object. And so for the X-ray, I change to this. Okay, let's see if it works. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, I think it's okay. So the aligning here is not absolutely correct. So, but we can change it a little bit. So I validate this and maybe let's rotate it a little bit more in position. Okay, so perspective on. Wireframe off. So I think it looks like a wheelbarrow. And yeah, so I think so this we change. No, I use it from the center. And then I clone this one, make it a little bit smaller. No, from the center. Then I clone it again. I place it here. So we need it a little bit bigger. I clone it again. So now we need division 6. Okay, so this was the last detail. Now I think it's okay. So let's save the whole thing. And that was it. Have fun with sculpting. Ciao.